This is Newsday.
Our top story, and the Prime Minister has urged Australians to view his comments on remote Indigenous communities in totality, saying he's very comfortable with his credentials on the issue. His description of living in remote Indigenous communities as a lifestyle choice has drawn criticism from Indigenous leaders. Sky News political reporter David Lipson joins me now. David, we are seeing a lot of reaction through about those comments. It has provoked a very lively debate.
It certainly has, Ashley, and I don't think anyone could seriously question the Prime Minister's passion in this area. The fact he does spend a week in Indigenous communities every year. He has continued to do that since becoming Prime Minister, intends to continue to do that even this year as well. But the comments that he made yesterday on radio when he said that it's not the job of the taxpayer to subsidise lifestyle choices in relation to Indigenous Australians who live in remote communities, that has certainly drawn ire from Indigenous leaders and community leaders as well. Today, the Prime Minister was standing by his comments, but he is urging, as you mentioned, all Australians to see them in context.
It was a lively discussion, and I'd invite people to listen to the discussion in its totality, to look at my record in its totality. I don't think there are too many Australian Prime Ministers who took the national government for almost a week to a remote Aboriginal community. I did it last year. It's my intention to do it again this year, and so I'm very comfortable with my credentials when it comes to doing the right thing by the Aboriginal people of Australia.
Several of his senior ministers have backed the comments, but those comments have certainly drawn the ire of Labor. Take a look.
It's right, because it is the lifestyle that they want. Do they want that lifestyle, to live in a remote area? Some of them do. Some of them say it is part of their tradition. That is their lifestyle. That is the way they live. The way they live is a lifestyle. Don't be hard on him about it, because it is the life that people are having that we are trying to deal with, and what they choose to have as well.
And I think what the Prime Minister is saying is there comes a point where the taxpayer has to say how much money can be spent in this community when there is no economic future in this particular community. We're not talking about communities of hundreds and hundreds of people. We're talking about micro communities.
But one thing that doesn't help is to come up with a comment which seeks to deny people's identity and connection with their own home by describing people living where they come from as being a lifestyle choice.
So perhaps not the best choice of words by the Prime Minister, but at the very least it has provoked a debate on a very important and sensitive issue.
David Lipson live in Canberra, thank you. Meantime, the Northern Territory Chief Minister Adam Giles says he doesn't support forcing people off their traditional country through defunding, and that Australia shouldn't be prescriptive about where people live. Sky News Indigenous Affairs reporter Dan Borscher joins us now. Dan.
Ash, good afternoon. Well, the comments that the Prime Minister made really hinged around a decision by the Western Australian Government to close 150 of 247 remote Indigenous communities. It's a social policy that we saw start to be rolled out over recent years of the last government here in the Northern Territory. The Chief Minister, Adam Giles, says he simply won't support it.
But this nation is a nation of 23 million people over a broad landscape, and people choose to live in a range of different places, whether that be small and regional community towns, whether that be farmers and pastoralists, or whether that be Aboriginal people who have a very strong cultural connection to their land. We support people, as the Country Liberals government, who want to live in their specific parts of the Northern Territory, and we should support that for this nation. Infrastructure should be built for this nation, and I don't think we should be prescriptive about telling people where they should and shouldn't live.
The Chief Minister went on to detail exactly what his government's done to support Indigenous people living in very remote communities in the Northern Territory, particularly about what sort of support and educational opportunities are available. There's been criticism of the Prime Minister from right across the board, including from the head of his Indigenous Council, Warren Mundine.
I am disappointed in the approach that is happening, because there are so many different ways that we can do things, and there's so many avenues and technology out there that we can achieve these things. Now, it just takes people to think outside the square for 5 seconds.
Oh, look, I think they're pretty unhelpful at this point. My contention is they can't exercise the lifestyle choice at the moment because, we're the most poorest, disadvantaged people in this country. If you don't know what the options are, if you don't know what support you're going to get, how can you exercise a lifestyle choice?
The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Social Justice Commissioner there agreeing with Warren Mundine about the tenor of the comments. Both say there needs to be a really frank discussion in Australia about the future of remote Indigenous people living on country. There's also been criticism from the head of one of Australia's most powerful land bodies. Joe Morrison says this also goes to the heart of the debate about land rights.
If you're looking at it through the lens of native title, where you're having to prove a continuous connection to your lands, this is also another distraction to that reality that Aboriginal people have faced. The native title amendments that took place are forcing people to have a continuous connection with their country, and here we are talking about a public policy which in fact takes people out of their country.
So Ash, as you can see, it's been a most divisive issue, particularly across the leadership of Australia's First Peoples. And we've heard people saying to me throughout today that they're now really questioning the Prime Minister's ability to continue to be the PM for Indigenous Australians.
Dan Bosch live there in Darwin, thank you.